The Memory Paradox, 5 Neuroscience Insights on Why Knowledge is Essential in the AI Era. Date, June 30, 2025. Authors, Barbara Oakley, Michael Johnston, Kenzhen Shen, Yulho Young, Terence J. Sanowski, Dr. Tassos Anastasiades. Introduction. In a world increasingly dominated by artificial intelligence (AI) and instant information access, the role of internalized knowledge is facing unprecedented scrutiny. The chapter titled The Memory Paradox, 5 Neuroscience Insights on Why Knowledge is Essential in the AI Era provides a comprehensive exploration of the cognitive implications of relying on external memory aids and the importance of foundational knowledge in education. Drawing on neuroscience, cognitive psychology, and educational theory, the authors argue for a re-evaluation of our learning strategies, emphasizing the need for deeper cognitive engagement in the age of AI. Key insights and common themes. 1. The Flynn Effect and Cognitive Decline. Oakley et al. Begin by addressing the Flynn Effect, which refers to the observed increase in IQ scores over time and its recent reversal in high-income countries. This decline, they argue, is closely tied to our growing dependence on external memory aids such as search engines and AI tools. The authors suggest that as educational methods increasingly prioritize cognitive offloading, relying on technology instead of internalizing knowledge, we inhibit the foundational learning necessary for cognitive growth. This trend leads to a deficiency in essential skills like reasoning and problem solving as students become less equipped to think critically without external support. 2. Neuroscience of memory. At the heart of the argument is the role of memory in cognitive functioning. The authors delve into cognitive neuroscience, highlighting that our brain's memory systems, declarative facts and information, and procedural skills and processes are being underutilized. In an era where information is readily available at our fingertips, the neural connections necessary for deep learning are weakened. This lack of engagement not only diminishes our ability to retain information but also impacts our creativity and innovative capabilities, as these cognitive functions rely heavily on a robust internalized knowledge base. 3. Interdependence of knowledge and skills. Dr. Tassos Anastasiades contributes a practical perspective emphasizing the interconnectedness of knowledge and skills within educational frameworks. He argues that internalizing knowledge through rigorous practice is essential for developing higher-order thinking skills. The over-reliance on AI tools, he warns, can foster metacognitive laziness, where students may appear to be productive but lack a true understanding of the material. The authors advocate for educational strategies that encourage active engagement with knowledge, asserting that learning should not be reduced to mere retrieval of information but should involve deep cognitive work. 4. Educational implications. Both Oakley et al. And Anastasiades stress the need for a balanced approach to education that harmonizes technology with the internalization of knowledge. They propose several evidence-based strategies to enhance memory formation and cognitive abilities, including spaced repetition. This technique involves revisiting material at intervals to reinforce memory retention. Retrieval practice, encouraging students to recall information actively strengthens memory pathways. Guided reflection. Structured reflection helps deepen understanding and solidify knowledge. By integrating these techniques into educational practices, teachers can facilitate a learning environment that prioritizes cognitive engagement while still leveraging the benefits of technology. 5. Cognitive offloading risks. One of the central cautions presented in the chapter is the risk associated with cognitive offloading, the tendency to rely on external aids for memory tasks. While digital tools can enhance learning, the authors argue they should not replace the cognitive effort required for deep comprehension. The danger lies in students becoming overly dependent on AI, which may lead to a decline in critical thinking and problem-solving skills. The authors call for a conscious effort to use technology as a complementary tool rather than a substitute for cognitive effort. Differences between sources. The chapter by Oakley et al. Primarily emphasizes the neuroscience behind memory and cognitive decline, providing a theoretical framework supported by empirical research. In contrast, Anastasiades focuses more on the practical implications for educators and policymakers, offering actionable strategies to improve educational outcomes. While Oakley et al. Present a more scientific analysis, Anastasiades shares a narrative-driven approach that reflects his personal beliefs as an educational leader. Timeline of events. 1970s, initial documentation of the Flynn Effect begins, showing increasing IQ scores over time. Present 2025, Oakley et al. Published their chapter linking cognitive decline to pedagogical trends that minimize the importance of foundational knowledge. Future directions. Educational leaders and researchers advocate for a renewed emphasis on internalized knowledge and cognitive engagement in response to the challenges posed by AI technologies. Conclusion. As we navigate an era characterized by overwhelming information availability, the insights from the memory paradox underscore the critical need for internalized knowledge in maintaining cognitive function. Both Oakley et al. And Anastasiades advocate for a re-evaluation of educational practices to ensure that essential cognitive skills, creativity, critical thinking, and adaptability are preserved in the face of AI advancements. By fostering a deeper engagement with foundational knowledge, we can cultivate resilient thinkers equipped to thrive in an increasingly complex world. In this context, the authors remind us of the ironic truth: although we can access vast amounts of information, the knowledge we hold within our minds remains invaluable. This call to action emphasizes the importance of intentional teaching and learning in the age of AI, urging educators and policymakers to harness technology effectively without sacrificing the cognitive efforts that underpin true understanding. The insights from the memory paradox, 5 Neuroscience Insights on Why Knowledge is Essential in the AI Era, present a compelling narrative that intertwines the evolution of cognitive capabilities with the growing reliance on artificial intelligence, AI, and external memory aids. Several counterintuitive themes emerge from the discussion, revealing complexities that challenge conventional wisdom about knowledge acquisition and cognitive development in an age dominated by technology. 1. Cognitive offloading versus cognitive enhancement. One of the central paradoxes highlighted in the text is the notion that while cognitive offloading, using external tools to manage memory and information, may seem to enhance cognitive efficiency, it may simultaneously erode the very cognitive skills it aims to support. The reliance on AI and search engines as crutches for memory can lead to a decline in critical thinking, problem-solving, and creativity. This juxtaposition of enhancement and decline is contrary to the common assumption that technology invariably improves cognitive capacity. 2. The Flynn Effect reversal. The reversal of the Flynn Effect, where IQ scores in high-income countries have begun to decline after decades of steady increase, presents a counterintuitive finding. The chapter suggests that this decline is linked not to genetic changes or environmental degradation alone, but rather to a pedagogical shift toward cognitive offloading. This insight challenges the prevailing belief that access to information and advanced technology should naturally lead to improved cognitive abilities. Instead, the authors argue that the lack of foundational knowledge and meaningful engagement with learning materials is detrimental to cognitive growth. 3. Interdependence of knowledge and skills. The conventional wisdom often posits that knowledge and skills can function independently, however, the insights from the chapter reveal their interdependence. Skills are not merely applied knowledge but are deeply rooted in a foundational understanding that must be internalized through practice and retrieval. This challenges the notion that one can bypass deep learning through reliance on external aids. Instead, internalized knowledge is presented as a launchpad for innovation and higher-order thinking, countering the belief that surface-level engagement with information suffices in the AI era. For metacognitive laziness, the concept of metacognitive laziness introduces a paradox where students may appear to be engaged and productive by using AI tools, yet they lack true understanding and critical engagement with the material. This phenomenon contradicts the assumption that productivity can be equated with learning. The authors argue that superficial engagement facilitated by technology may foster a false sense of accomplishment, leading to a disconnection between performance and actual cognitive development. 5. Foundational knowledge as a constraint versus a launchpad. A critical insight from the text is the reframing of foundational knowledge. Rather than viewing it as a constraint that limits creativity and inquiry, the authors argue that it serves as a launchpad for advanced cognitive skills. This perspective challenges the educational trend that prioritizes learner agency and creativity at the expense of foundational knowledge. The underlying message is that without a robust internal knowledge base, students may struggle to synthesize information and innovate effectively in complex scenarios. In conclusion, the insights presented in the memory paradox compel us to re-evaluate our relationship with technology and knowledge acquisition. The counterintuitive findings challenge long-held assumptions about the role of AI in education and cognitive development. The emerging narrative underscores the necessity of striking a balance between leveraging technological advancements and nurturing the foundational knowledge that underpins critical thinking and creativity. As we navigate the complexities of an AI-driven world, the imperative to internalize knowledge as a means of enhancing cognitive capacity remains more relevant than ever. The Memory Paradox: 5 Neuroscience Insights on Why Knowledge is Essential in the AI Era. In the contemporary context of rapid technological advancement, particularly through artificial intelligence (AI), the discourse surrounding knowledge acquisition and memory has gained unprecedented relevance. The report titled The Memory Paradox: 5 Neuroscience Insights on Why Knowledge is Essential in the AI Era encapsulates essential insights that resonate deeply with the current educational paradigms and cognitive theories. Here we delve into specific aspects of the report that are often overlooked yet hold significant implications for education, cognitive development, and the effective use of AI tools. 1. The Flynn Effect and its reversal. One of the report's critical insights is the discussion on the Flynn Effect, which refers to the observed increase in IQ scores over time across generations. Oakley et al. Highlight a concerning reversal of this trend, particularly in high-income countries, which they link to the increasing reliance on external memory aids like search engines and AI. This decline in IQ and cognitive capacity is significant because it suggests that as we grow more dependent on technology for immediate information retrieval, we may be undermining our cognitive abilities to retain, process, and apply knowledge critically. The importance of this insight lies in its challenge to the notion that technology merely augments our capabilities. Instead, it posits that cognitive offloading, the practice of relying on external tools to perform tasks that require cognitive effort, can lead to a deterioration of foundational knowledge. This deterioration is particularly alarming for future generations who may lack the cognitive scaffolding necessary for higher-order thinking, creativity, and problem-solving. 2. Neuroscience of memory and cognitive functions. The report emphasizes the neuroscience behind memory, detailing how our brain's declarative fact-based and procedural skill-based memory systems are crucial for effective reasoning and creative thought. Cognitive neuroscience suggests that with the overutilization of digital tools, these memory systems are not being engaged adequately. This underutilization can weaken neural connections essential for deep learning and cognitive functioning. This insight is significant because it underscores the biological basis of learning and memory. The implication is that while we may have access to vast amounts of information, the ability to synthesize, analyze, and innovate from that information is contingent upon our internal cognitive resources. As such, educators and policymakers must recognize the necessity of fostering an environment that encourages active engagement with knowledge rather than passive consumption. 3. Interdependence of knowledge and skills. Dr. Tassos Anastasiades contributes to the discourse by highlighting the interdependence between knowledge and skills. He argues that internalizing knowledge through practice is foundational for developing higher-order cognitive skills. The report warns about metacognitive laziness, where students might use AI tools to appear productive yet lack a deep understanding of the material. The overlooked significance here is the idea that skills cannot simply be divorced from knowledge. As we embrace innovative teaching practices and technology-enhanced learning, it is crucial to prioritize the internalization of knowledge through deliberate and effortful cognitive engagement. Educators often emphasize skills training but without a solid foundation of knowledge. Those skills may not translate into effective problem-solving or critical thinking in real-world scenarios. 4. Educational implications and balanced approach. The report advocates for a balanced educational approach that integrates technology while emphasizing the importance of internalized knowledge. It suggests strategies such as spaced repetition, retrieval practice, and guided reflection to enhance memory formation and cognitive abilities. This aspect is particularly significant because it challenges the prevailing trend of viewing technology as a substitute for cognitive effort. Instead, it posits that technology should be viewed as a support mechanism that facilitates deeper learning. The emphasis on cognitive strategies to reinforce memory formation can transform educational practices, leading to more resilient and adaptable learners. Ignoring these strategies can lead to superficial engagement with content, ultimately undermining the educational objectives of fostering critical thinkers. 5. Risks of cognitive offloading. Finally, the report warns against the risks associated with cognitive offloading, which is becoming increasingly prevalent in educational contexts. While tools like AI can enhance learning by providing immediate feedback and personalized learning experiences, there is a danger that they may encourage students to bypass the effort required for deep understanding. The significant takeaway here is the need for intentional design and educational curricula that incorporates technology in a way that enhances, not diminishes, cognitive engagement. This calls for a paradigm shift in how educators perceive the role of technology. Rather than seeing technology as a means to simplify learning, educators must recognize its potential to enhance cognitive effort and promote active engagement with learning material. Conclusion. In conclusion, the insights derived from the memory paradox serve as a clarion call to rethink our approach to education in the AI era. As we navigate an age where information is abundantly available, the report elucidates the critical need for internalized knowledge and cognitive engagement. By recognizing the interconnectedness of knowledge and skills, the implications of cognitive neuroscience, and the risks associated with cognitive offloading, educators and policymakers can design more effective educational frameworks that foster resilience, adaptability, and critical thinking in learners. The urgent challenge remains: how can we harness the power of AI and digital tools without losing the fundamental cognitive processes that underpin deep learning? Addressing this question is essential for shaping a future where knowledge is not merely accessible but fully integrated into the cognitive architecture of learners. The content, titled The Memory Paradox: 5 Neuroscience Insights on Why Knowledge is Essential in the AI Era, presents critical insights into the interplay between memory knowledge and artificial intelligence (AI). Below are the 4 most valuable points for in-depth analysis and discussion. 1. The Flynn Effect and Cognitive Decline. The reversal of the Flynn effect, the observed rise and subsequent decline in IQ scores in high-income countries, is a pivotal insight that underscores the dangers of cognitive offloading. Oakley et al. Argue that this phenomenon is linked to increased reliance on external memory aids such as search engines and AI. The decline in foundational knowledge acquisition due to educational practices that favor cognitive offloading raises concerns about the long-term cognitive development of individuals. This point invites a deeper exploration of how educational systems can adapt to integrate technology without sacrificing core knowledge and cognitive skills. Discussion points. How can educational curricula be reformed to emphasize foundational knowledge while still incorporating AI and digital tools? What are the psychological and societal implications of declining IQ scores? And how can we address them? In what ways can we measure the impact of cognitive offloading on student learning outcomes? 2. Neuroscience of memory. The understanding that memory is integral to cognitive functions such as reasoning, creativity, and problem solving is critical in the AI era. The chapter highlights that the brain's declarative and procedural memory systems are being underutilized due to the accessibility of information. This underutilization can weaken neural connections that are crucial for deep learning. The insights from neuroscience emphasize the need for strategies that enhance memory formation and engagement. Discussion points. What specific neuroscience findings can inform teaching practices to enhance memory retention? How can educators encourage the active engagement of students with their memory systems in a technology-driven learning environment? What role does emotional engagement play in memory retention and cognitive processing? 3. Interdependence of knowledge and skills. Dr. Tassos Anastasiades' emphasis on the interdependence of knowledge and skills is a powerful reminder that internalizing knowledge is vital for higher-order thinking. The authors argue that the reliance on AI tools without sufficient cognitive engagement can lead to metacognitive laziness, where students may perform tasks without a deep understanding of the underlying concepts. This point raises critical questions about the balance between technology use and cognitive effort in educational contexts. Discussion points. How can educators create learning environments that encourage internalization of knowledge through practice and active engagement? What are the implications of metacognitive laziness for student assessment and evaluation? Can technology be effectively integrated in a way that promotes critical thinking and creativity rather than undermines it? 4. Educational implications and strategies. The call for a balanced approach to education that integrates technology while prioritizing the internalization of knowledge is paramount. Strategies such as spaced repetition retrieval practice and guided reflection are highlighted as effective methods to strengthen memory and cognitive abilities. The authors advocate for educational practices that foster deep understanding rather than superficial engagement with content. Discussion points. What evidence-based strategies can be implemented in classrooms to promote deeper learning and memory retention? How can educators effectively balance the use of digital tools with traditional teaching methods? What role should policymakers play in shaping educational standards that prioritize cognitive engagement in an AI-rich environment? Conclusion. The insights from the memory paradox are not only relevant to educators but also to policymakers, researchers, and learners themselves. As we navigate an era increasingly dominated by AI, the necessity of internalized knowledge for cognitive functioning becomes ever more crucial. The discussions surrounding these 4 points can lead to practical applications in educational reform, ensuring that future generations are equipped with the cognitive skills needed to thrive in a complex information-rich world. Here are 3 famous historical cases that illustrate the themes of the memory paradox, cognitive reliance, and the importance of internal knowledge, which resonate with the insights from the memory paradox. 5 Neuroscience Insights on why knowledge is essential in the AI era. 1. The decline of the Roman Empire. The fall of the Roman Empire provides a historical example of how reliance on external systems can lead to a decline in internal knowledge and skills. As the empire expanded, it became increasingly dependent on bureaucratic systems and military technology, which allowed for a reduction in the necessity of individual knowledge and skills among its citizens and soldiers. The reliance on complex administrative systems, vast networks of roads, and military machines contributed to a decline in civic engagement and critical thinking among the populace. When these systems began to fail, due to economic troubles, invasions, and internal strife, the empire's ability to respond effectively diminished. This decline showcases the risk of cognitive offloading, where reliance on external structures weakened the foundational knowledge and civic responsibility that was necessary for the empire's sustainability. 2. The invention of the printing press. The invention of the printing press in the 15th century revolutionized the dissemination of knowledge and information. This technological advancement allowed for the mass production of books and texts, which made written knowledge more accessible than ever before. However, it also led to a decline in the practice of memorization and oral traditions of knowledge transfer. In earlier times, scholars and students relied heavily on memorizing texts and oral recitation to internalize knowledge. With the printing press, information became readily available, leading to a shift in learning strategies. As people began to rely more on printed materials, there was a notable reduction in deep cognitive engagement with the material. This shift is reminiscent of the concerns raised in the memory paradox, where reliance on external tools risks diminishing the internal cognitive architecture necessary for critical thinking and creativity. 3. The rise of calculators in education. The introduction of calculators in educational settings during the late 20th century offers a contemporary example of cognitive offloading. While calculators have significantly enhanced mathematical problem-solving capabilities and efficiency, their widespread use has also led to concerns about diminished mental arithmetic skills among students. Educators noted a trend where students became reliant on calculators for basic calculations, often leading to a lack of understanding of fundamental mathematical concepts. This phenomenon parallels the arguments presented in the memory paradox, which emphasizes that internalizing knowledge and engaging in effortful cognitive processes are vital for developing higher-order thinking skills. The decline in mental math abilities illustrates the potential risks of outsourcing cognitive tasks to technology without fostering foundational knowledge. These historical cases highlight the intricate relationship between knowledge retention, cognitive skills, and the reliance on external tools, echoing the insights from the discussion on the necessity of internalized knowledge in the AI era. Future outlook: the memory paradox and the role of knowledge in the AI era. As we navigate through the AI-driven landscape of the future, the insights from the memory paradox provide critical foresight into the evolving relationship between knowledge, memory, and cognitive function. The following predictions outline how education, cognitive engagement, and the utilization of AI will shape our intellectual landscape in the coming years. 1. Reinforcement of foundational knowledge in education. In the next decade, educational systems worldwide are likely to pivot back toward emphasizing foundational knowledge acquisition. As the detrimental effects of cognitive offloading become more apparent, exemplified by the reversal of the Flynn Effect, educators will increasingly advocate for curricula that prioritize internalized knowledge. This shift will not only aim to counteract declines in cognitive abilities but also ensure that students possess the critical thinking and problem-solving skills necessary in an AI-dominated world. 2. The rise of hybrid learning models. The future will see the emergence of hybrid learning environments that integrate traditional educational methods with advanced AI technologies. These models will leverage AI for personalized learning experiences, providing formative feedback while ensuring that students engage in the cognitive processes of retrieval and reflection. Educators will adopt practices such as spaced repetition and guided reflection alongside AI tools, fostering a balance that enhances memory formation and cognitive engagement. 3. Increased focus on metacognitive skills. As reliance on AI tools grows, the ability to think critically about one's thinking, metacognition, will become a focal point in education. Students will be trained not just to use AI as a resource but to evaluate the quality of information and their own understanding. Educational institutions will likely introduce metacognitive training programs that encourage students to reflect on their learning processes, ensuring that they can discern when to rely on AI and when to engage their cognitive faculties. 4. Shift in assessment metrics. Assessment practices will evolve to emphasize cognitive engagement over rote performance. Future assessments will measure not only what students know but how well they can apply, synthesize, and innovate based on their knowledge. This transition will encourage a deeper understanding of material, pushing students to connect concepts and think critically rather than merely regurgitating information. Performance assessments, project-based evaluations, and oral examinations may become more prevalent. 5. Cognitive health awareness. As the implications of cognitive decline become clearer, there will be a growing societal emphasis on cognitive health and memory training. Public awareness campaigns and educational initiatives will encourage lifelong learning and memory-enhancing practices such as mindfulness, physical exercise, and brain training exercises. The understanding that knowledge retention and cognitive engagement are vital for personal and societal advancement will drive individuals to prioritize these aspects of their lives. 6. AI as a cognitive partner. AI will evolve from being a mere tool to becoming a cognitive partner in the learning process. This partnership will involve AI assisting in complex problem-solving and creative processes without replacing the foundational knowledge that underpins these activities. As AI capabilities advance, educational systems will need to ensure that students learn to collaborate with AI using it to enhance their cognitive processes rather than bypass them. 7. Global initiatives for educational equity. Recognizing the disparities in access to quality education and cognitive resources, there will be global initiatives aimed at promoting educational equity. These initiatives will focus on integrating foundational knowledge into curriculums in under-resourced areas, ensuring that all students can develop the cognitive skills necessary for success in an AI-enhanced world. Governments and NGOs will collaborate to provide resources, training, and support to educators worldwide. 8. Neuroscience-informed practices in learning. The future of education will be increasingly informed by neuroscience research, particularly regarding memory and learning processes. Schools will adopt evidence-based strategies that align with our understanding of how the brain learns best. This may include training teachers in cognitive neuroscience to better understand how to facilitate memory retention and cognitive engagement, leading to more effective teaching practices. 9. Enhanced collaboration between educators and technologists. As the intersection of education and technology deepens, there will be a stronger collaboration between educators and technologists to develop tools that support cognitive engagement. This collaboration will focus on creating adaptive learning technologies that align with pedagogical goals, ensuring that technology enhances rather than detracts from the learning experience. 10. Cultural shifts towards valuing knowledge. Lastly, there will be a cultural shift towards valuing internalized knowledge and critical thinking as essential competencies in the AI era. As society grapples with the implications of AI, there will be a renewed appreciation for human creativity, intuition, and reasoning, qualities that cannot be replaced by technology. This cultural shift will manifest in various domains, from hiring practices to public discourse, emphasizing the importance of a well-rounded and knowledgeable populace. Conclusion. The insights from the memory paradox underscore the importance of fostering deep cognitive engagement and retaining foundational knowledge in an age increasingly dominated by AI. As we look to the future, it is clear that while AI will play a pivotal role in our lives, the human capacity for critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving will remain invaluable. By cultivating these skills through intentional educational practices and a commitment to cognitive engagement, we can ensure that individuals are not only equipped to navigate the complexities of the AI era but thrive within it.